Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Honestly, I am real with you guys. This is just going to be all vibes. Like, if you think that this this recap today on Game Over is going to be filled with analysis, I'm sorry to say, there's too many emotions going through me at the moment, and I think the Leafs hate me personally because this is the third straight loss that I've covered. Like, I'm very happy for our man and Harnish, but oh my god, maybe I should just like stop doing these. I think maybe I'm the reason. Anyways, before we get into it though, I'm bringing on my guest today. You know her from Twitter and her podcast with Helen, Real Good Pros. Her name is Elizabeth. And before we get into our emotional analysis, I'm sure, get all your NHL playoff action at Sports Interaction. Before the game starts, live in play, or how your favorite player will perform. Canada plays at SIA, doing it right since 1997. With the most competitive odds, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. It's 19 plus, and remember, please play responsibly. Okay, hello, Liz. How are you? I mean, I'm not even gonna really ask how you're doing because I'm sure it's probably not great. But vibe. Can I get a vibe check?
I think that I walked like a kilometer just facing my apartment the last. I can't even believe this to you right now. Of course, I was going to 7. Of course.
Imagine thinking the Toronto Maple Leafs would ever make the playoffs and not take it to a game 7. Like the entire point is to torture us personally. Like at this point, I just have to believe that it's like a Disney script being, I don't know.
Exactly. Like, they have to be dramatic. It's the only option. It's the only thing they know. And, like, the whole time I was watching overtime, I was like, either we're going to game 7 or this is going to like quadruple overtime. That's the only options we have here. And they did game 7, so woo!
Yep. And okay, I think, sorry everyone for the tech difficulties. I think Liz was muted for the first like 5 minutes.
Oh no!
Let me know in the chat if it's better now. Just what we need. Honestly, I'm hoping one of these days I can make it through one of these live streams without some sort of issue. But yeah, you know, people always say like, or this is something Omar and I have talked about many a time, that the Leafs are kind of like the Disney Channel villains. Like, do you know what I mean? Like they're the antagonist in the miraculous comeback story.
No,
And
absolutely. They're like this shitty prep school villain in our lives.
It's unbelievable. And the worst part is they played so well in overtime. Honestly, I was watching the game with my brother, and as soon as they brought on like the broadcast, the shots are like, I don't know, it was something crazy, like 11-1 or something stupid. I was like, wouldn't it be just so Leafs if they lost this?
And then they did. I know, like the overtime, like, and for the majority of the game, I feel like they were playing very well. Like, and so it's just so frustrating, and especially overtime. Like, I thought they dominated overtime. Like, the bit that I could see between my fingers, they were in the Lightning zone for so much. And so, of course, it was this kind of like bounce in that ended the game for them, because that's just our luck. That's just what we have to deal with. That's our burden to bear.
Yeah. And it could have been a perfect ending. You know, there were so many opportunities. Even, you know, Kerfoot had a game. He did something tonight, that's for sure. I don't know.
Good things, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The variety of things,
Yeah. And okay, I know talking about the game time goal in the third period for the Lightning that made it 3-3. I know that the Kampf call was definitely questionable. It was not a high stick. If you go back and watch it, Kampf clearly like nicks the shoulder and not the face. So that was a botched call. But the Kerfoot call, I mean, that was a like, you just can't make that, you can't take that penalty, Kerfoot, no matter if the call previous was, you know, a bad call by the refs or not. And you add that with his giveaway previously in the game that led to a goal, and I was really, honestly, even with all that, I was really rooting for him to...
No, he had that chance, I want to say it was in the third, where it was just like Vasilevsky just stopped it, of course.
Robbed him.
Like, that would have been just...
redemption.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And I wish the Leafs could have a game end like that for them. I wish we could go through a storyline like that. Can you imagine?
What you're saying, it's like the perfect like ending. Tavares had 2 which has been a narrative throughout this series. So if this had been our like last game, it's like, yeah, Tavares showed up. Like Willie got like his 7th point in like 6 games or whatever.
Matthews gets a goal.
Exactly. And it's just like Jack had such a performance kind of thing, and it would have just been like chef's kiss ending of the series. But no, it just wasn't in the cards, apparently.
It's never in the cards for us. Ever. I mean, it's been, I saw a tweet before the game, I think it was from Kevin Papetti, you guys all probably follow him on Twitter, saying like, you know, the last time the Leafs won moved on to the second round of the playoffs was, I believe it was April 20th, 2004. I mean, I was 5, so definitely I did not watch that game. That's for sure.
I was in grade 4. I feel like I watched that game, probably like with my dad or something, but I can't remember it in any way. Like it means nothing to me.
Yeah, I really I want to know what it feels like. You know, at one point I was watching the game with both of my brothers, and at one point my brother was like, wouldn't it be sick if we like put a camera and like filmed like when the game is going to OT, if we like put a camera and like film just to like see what would happen? And then I was like, I don't want our like depressed reaction on camera.
Exactly. That kind of thing only goes well when you win. If you lose, it's like the saddest that you have to immediately delete that. Do not watch the tape. Like,
yeah. And so that only works if you're not the Toronto Maple Leafs and if you're not a Toronto Maple Leaf fan.
Yeah, everyone else can do it. Feel free. I'm sure it's delightful and fun, but
so I'm like, guys, if you wanted us to be like, I really want to try so hard to be positive. Like the thing is I've been hurt with like it's a meme at this point. I've been hurt too many times. My voice is literally hurting. Like I screamed so much today, and also I was at Wonderland today also. So this entire like day for me has just been extremely hectic, and so it would have just been so great for the Leafs to win it for me. I was planning out like what I would say. Oh my god, I had no notes, just like a bunch of like holy shit Tavares like written over and over on my page, and like Matthews just
no, exactly, because that was just the absolute vibes of it. It was like, oh my god, Tavares, oh my god, Spezza, but it ended up being Tavares, which is both so great and such wonderful vibes and so many chances. And it was like, you know, like all the Leafs have to do is just kind of like jam it in. Like I feel like they need to just get one of the rebounds that like Vasilevsky lets go, and
that Matthews chance before the Lightning scored. It's like, that's how you know the Leafs are really cursed. Like, that's how you know, like, when is Matthews not scoring there?
Exactly. Like, that's a haunting kind of thing. Like, that's the thing that you're laying in bed awake thinking about. Both Matthews and Marner and us. Yeah.
Oh, and like, you know, they had the miraculous comeback in Game 5. They have the comeback again today. But Keefe said it after Game 5. He said it. The comeback does not matter if they cannot get it done.
Exactly.
And look, the series is not over yet. I don't think any of us thought this was going to be like a sweep for either team. No one really thought it was going to end in 5. I think most people would have pegged it going to 7. Personally, I did not want to put that energy out into the universe, but it's also inevitable. Like Thanos meme, like I am inevitable. The Leafs are going. Exactly. The Leafs in Game 7s. It's going to happen. But the question now is, can they get it done? Can they for once be clutch? Can they actually do it? It's like, I don't know what the issue is.
That's the most loaded question of all time, because it's like they can, like they should be able to. Like the team I watched tonight, I think can do it. It's just like, will they? And will that team show up? Or is it going to be like the game 4 team? Is it going to be the team from like the first half of game 5? I don't know, because it's the Toronto Maple Leafs and you can never tell.
You can never tell. It's impossible to predict. Actually, you could probably predict. I'm not going to put negative energy out into the universe for Game 7, but I don't think I'm going to personally survive it. Is anyone else going to survive it? Like, everybody listening, are you guys going to survive it? Because I don't know if I can personally handle this again.
So here's the thing. I am going to the ballet on Saturday, which starts at 8:00.
Oh my God.
And intermission, I'm going to be frantically checking my phone. And once I leave, I will probably be bursting into tears for good reasons or bad reasons. But that's going, like, Steve Dangle's heart rate will have nothing on mine sitting there not knowing what's happening.
Oh my God, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what's worse, like watching Game 7 or not watching Game 7.
I don't know. I'll report back because I'm...
Yeah. I mean, for the listeners who have been following along, like in terms of the Game Over Toronto recaps, I'm cursed. Armen and Harnish are not. But I mean, I wonder what's going to happen, because for Game 7, it's actually all of us together doing the recap. So I'm not sure what kind of
like the good vibes and bad vibes like cancel out each other.
I don't know.
So it's just on the Leafs now.
Yeah. Which has worked so well in the past.
Oh yeah, no, I trust them so much.
Oh my God, I'm still... like my neighbors were out, like I could hear them from, like, our windows are open and I can hear my neighbors like screaming at everything we're screaming at. It was like we were watching it, experiencing this together. And
I feel sorry for my neighbors, because every single time it was in our end, I was just going, no, at like increased volume levels. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Like, I want to know what it feels like, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, older Toronto Maple Leafs fans probably have like some recollection of what Leaf success, or some margin, like some amount of Leaf success looks like. Personally, as a fan after the 2004 era, I actually have no idea. My entire Toronto Maple Leafs experience has been disappointment after disappointment. Like, I started watching in the, I believe it was the 2012 season, before the lockout, the 2011-2012 season. I mean, the Leafs were bad. They missed the playoffs that year. And now we get the infamous 2013 season, which everyone knows how that went.
Yeah.
And
if you don't, then like, teach me how you have that peace in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And since then, it's just been disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And something my brother and I were talking about is, you know, when the overtime has started and you see the list of like Tampa Bay players who've scored in overtime.
That was insulting.
It's like 2 columns and then you see the Leafs.
Yeah.
It's unfair. It just really feels unfair.
It's unfair when you think about like the team we have, the lineups we've had, like especially like not considering the 2013 loss, because that is such a different team. Like, you think about who was like on that roster. Like, I think they showed like a clip of like the handshake line and there's like Phil Kessel, and I'm like, that's so far away from now. But like the rosters we've had for like all of these losses, like against the Bruins again, against Columbus, against Montreal last season, like these teams are good. These teams just have, I don't know what it is, like a curse, demons.
I don't know how you describe it.
Like,
but, okay, the thing is actually, I was looking at the roster when we played like the Bruins. And when you go down the list, I think there's only 5 players that are still on the team from that roster. So it's actually been a complete like we've basically kept the core 4 plus Riley, I believe, are the only like players who
It's
are
been
still
complete overhaul, like completely new team, and still we just. And then even like this series, like we're going to 7, and everyone's probably like, "You guys, like relax, we're going to 7." Like it isn't over.
It's not.
But,
it's
like,
not. The thing I know this. You're watching it. You're probably thinking like the Leafs lost the series. No, there's another game actually.
There's
but
another game, supposedly. Rumors
Yeah.
have told us, but like, it's just like I don't like. I don't know. I don't know what it is with this team, and
Well, I mean, like the difference. Okay, like we all know Boston Game 7s, yada yada. Okay, those were in TD Garden. Okay, and TD Garden
Yeah.
sucks, and it's the worst place to be. I'm traumatized
Exactly.
from that arena. That their goal
I
song
can
will
never
forever
go
haunt
there.
my
I will
nightmares.
just break out into a cold sweat.
I've said this before. Like the Bruins that are still on that roster are also like it's the same as the Leafs. Like there's only like a couple of players still on that team. I will still hate the Boston Bruins for the rest of eternity, like forever and ever.
No.
But okay, so the Leafs, they played those Game 7s in TD Garden. Okay, the Columbus series, honestly, I like to forget about that series because it was during
real playoffs.
It was
It's
during
fine.
COVID. It wasn't the playoffs. It doesn't exist to me. I can't even remember what happened. When that like thing that had the OT winners came up and it said Matthews, it took me like fully like
Yeah, I was
10,
like, when?
10 minutes to remember what that goal was. And then I was like, oh, right.
Columbus.
That
right.
series. So yeah, so that series, let's just forget about that for right now. Montreal. Okay, so the Leafs were clearly the better team in that series. But the Game 7, I mean, well, what can you blame it on? I mean, one thing the Leafs have going in their favor going into Saturday is that it's in their building.
Yep.
Yes, that was true for the Montreal series, but there are actually fans this time. And
Yes.
honestly, I think that's made a big difference for the Leafs in this series.
Scotiabank Arena as loud as it's been this series. Like the fans have been in it. And I mean, for the most part, when we're at home, like we've split like the first 4 games, we split the home and homes, but like I think there's a genuine difference like when the fans are in it and the Leafs are going and like it's Game 7, it's going to be this ridiculous intensity, and the atmosphere in there I think is going to really like push them kind of thing. And part of me isn't as concerned for this Game 7 because our main guys, our core, have been producing this series. So it's not like it's like, okay, time to shake the rust off. Like you guys got to like give it in this last game. It's like, no, like you guys have been producing, you have been showing up, like you have been factors in these games. Like, and we know Austin Matthews like thrives in this, like these kind of games. Like,
yeah, I mean, what's his like goal thing? It's like he had like his home and away split in the playoffs is insane. I think it's like he has 17 goals in total, or maybe 18, and I don't know. I think like 14 of them are at home, and like 4 of them are away.
Exactly. So like Austin Matthews loves to perform in front of the crowd at home, and it gives him that like extra push. And I think that's fair to say. Like when you consider the like split like that, like it's absurd. And I just like, I don't know, like. It's super cursed, and thinking about it is like, I mean, it's like super hot in Ottawa right now, so I'm sweating anyways, but like thinking about it's like making me sweat. But at the same time, like, I don't know, there's just something about this team and like the way this series has gone that I'm like, no, I think they could do it. I mean, also, if we look at it, it's been Leafs win, Leafs lose, Leafs win, Leafs lose. So next one on the lit, like if we're going in a pattern, you know, Leafs win next game.
You're right. That's actually so true. And to be like, to add more to the positive aspect of this series, besides the crowd, I think home ice has been a huge advantage for the Leafs, or a huge push in terms of the matchup game as well. Obviously the Stars were really good in this game, even with the away matchup kind of, you know, being more favorable towards Tampa. But I think that's also going to be huge for the Leafs. And man, it's not that I like, oh, I do feel bad for the players, honestly. Like I can't even like, okay, let's say, no, I don't want to put it out there that they're going to lose. We're not but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but like, what do they even say to the media if this happens again? How do you even answer those questions? Like,
I would just burst into tears. Like someone would be like, so what happened? I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And I think that's almost like scarier for me, is to think about that like unknown. Should, knock on every piece of wood in my apartment, if that should happen again is the unknown following. But I don't know. I want to believe, you know what I mean? Like I just want to believe in this team. And even though they're doing this to us again, like this has to be a record for like number of game sevens by a team in like consecutive playoffs. Like why are the Leafs like this? Why are they so dramatic?
They're more cursed stats. Okay, Sportsnet tweeted something today.
Sportsnet stats might detest it.
Yeah, honestly. They tweeted something today, like, I think it was, okay, when a team goes up 3-2 in game 5, they win in game 6. I think it was like 55% of the time. And then they win in game 7, 28% of the time. And then they lose in game 7, like 19% of the time. So
how do you even have that stat, first of all?
I don't know. But it's like, I think Dom, I don't remember who tweeted this. I think it might have been Dom Lucian, but he tweeted like, why isn't it 100? Because the fact that it's not is even, it could honestly, it could be 100% that the team wins and the Leafs would still, I feel like in my soul they would find a way. Yeah, but I mean, people want to talk about the refs. Listen, I know the officiating has been extremely like whack in this series. The thing is like, I don't want to complain too much about the officiating. Like, I know that's like, I know
like
lots
the
of
thing. Like,
I
people
know,
are like, oh, they're gonna complain about the officiating, but like,
it's like I don't want to blame this series' loss on the officiating. No. It just feels like kind of a cop out for me because you can't. This is like what how many years has it been now since the first playoffs? Thing. It's like I don't want to. It just feels kind of like, okay, the officiating has the like comparing like the first couple of games in the series, like the officiating in those games to today, there's clearly like, I don't know, it feels like it's a completely different series in terms of the way that the games have been reffed.
Commentators, yeah, even the commentators said that. They're like, oh, well, it looks like they're officiating a little different tonight. And it's very much like you sit back and you're like, how is that a thing that can be like a comment like, oh, the refs are officiating differently in this game of the series as opposed to all the other games? But I agree with you. Like, it's been how many years of this? It's been 6 games of this series specifically. Like, I'm thinking specifically about Kerfoot's penalty. And like, you know what you can get away with and you know what you can't get away with. And especially like the Leafs, who are like the most penalized in the playoffs so far. Like, you know this, you have to adapt or you're just like shooting yourself in the foot kind of thing.
Yeah. And the other thing for me is like the Leafs power play in this series. Like I want to pull up the stats, but it's been really, really bad. So, I mean, I'm not even very confident that if they got a couple more calls that it would necessarily go their way. Like I think they're operating at like a 12%. Mm-hmm. The last time I checked.
5-on-5 has been like the best kind of thing.
And like 4-on-4. We've been killing it 4-on-4. Give me more of those. But
yeah, exactly.
But the power play has honestly not been good for the Leafs in this series, which is a problem because Tampa scores on their power play and we don't, and it's kind of the difference.
And also when Tampa does get those penalties, you want to capitalize on it. Like you want to use it to your advantage. Like Tampa very evidently does. Tampa's, like you said, Tampa's power play is awesome. And so when they get it, it's like, oh, like they're going to try and even it up or go ahead here or something like that. And when the Leafs get the power play, you're like, well, let's pray. Let's just hope that this goes well. Can we get a PK instead? We're better at those. Like,
yeah. And so while I do agree, like the reffing in this game wasn't good, like I'm not going to sit here and say the reffing was good or that like in this entire series, it's been amazing. Like clearly the standard for this series is in a different league from the rest of the series that are being played. So I'm not going to like pretend that the reffing has been incredible. Personally, I don't know, guys. I just feel kind of hesitant to blame. It just feels like a cop-out. Like if I just don't want to do it.
Especially tonight when you think of like 2 of the goals that were scored by Tampa Bay were off Kerfoot's drop pass to no one, which like you can't blame the refs for that. Like that's like Kerfoot's decision kind of thing. And then also like it wasn't as like blatant kind of thing, but a Mikheyev giveaway. So it's like, yeah, like the refs may be kind of putting us at a disadvantage or something by the choosing to call the penalties they do, but like what are we doing with the time we have where we're not being penalized? Like, are we doing anything to further our game or like get ahead in any way, or are we just like coasting?
Yeah. It's like the Leafs just have to put themselves in a position where there can be error, like, and they still are able to overcome it. Like there can be their own errors or errors on the ref's part. They just have to increase that margin of error for themselves. Like,
no, exactly. And they've been able to do that, and they've been able to prove that they can come back, like as we were talking about, like, and they can like have been able to kind of like keep pushing and keep the intensity and not like let up sort of thing. And so then when they like give like the stupid like penalty, or they get like the stupid like giveaway or something, you're like, you guys, come on. Like, you're
Dermot spin move. Like, I swear I was getting flashbacks to that.
God, yeah.
But the Leafs are a very good team. This is hands down the best constructed roster that I've ever seen put together. They're an incredible team. At the end of the day, like, we can't discount the fact that they're playing the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and that is a factor. And so I'm ready to get hurt again, okay? I'm going into Game 7. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to wear my Leaf jersey. I can't decide if I should wear Matthews or Nylander or Marner, but I'm going to wear one of them.
All three on top of each other.
Should I wear them all?
If anything goes wrong, you take one off. And like...
But I'm basically, what I'm saying is, look, the Leafs, what better way? Let's end this on a positive note. Yeah. What better way for the Leafs to clinch their first like series, like the first series that the Leafs can win since 2004? What better way to do that than at home in a Game 7 against the back-to-back Stanley Cup champs? Like, the Leafs, they have it in front of them. It's so close, and they can do it. This team is good enough to get it done. They have the star power to get it done. They can do it.
Like you were saying with this, like, this game would have been a great way to go out. You know, Game 6, don't even deal with the Game 7 demons. Like, great showing by all of these players. But like, you explain it like saying like at home, Game 7, like there's just something about that would just be so perfect and so just satisfying. And like, what, like you said, what better way to kind of slay this dragon than
exactly
dramatically at home.
It can be magic. We can witness magic. And I want it so bad. And I know that they want it too. And so it's just a matter of taking it. Like, reach out and take it. Don't expect Tampa to give it to you, because they're not going to. We've clearly seen Tampa's not going to do that. The Leafs have to take their fate into their own hands. They have to take it. And look, this team is good enough to get it done. And so, everyone, on to Game 7 we go. On to Game 7 we go. Okay.
Everyone get your pillow to like scream into, and
do you have a stress ball? Do you have like anything? Like, I don't know. What's the best way to get out your energy? Figure that out, and let's send some positive vibes into the universe before Saturday night.
I believe.
Okay, Liz, where can everybody find you?
So you can follow me on Twitter at for sure. Yeah, spelled YA. You can also hear me on the Real Good Pros podcast with Helen as well. That's Real Good Pros, good with a U. And yeah, you'll find me not tweeting during Game 7, but like frantically sending as many messages at intermission as possible. So yeah, enjoy that.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe me recapping the game with Armin and Harnish will break the curse that I am stuck in right now.
I believe it. I think you deserve to have your curse broken. I think that That's the least the Leafs could do, honestly.
Yeah. So everyone fingers crossed, and let's get her done.
Please.